So here's my mark. So if my mark's drifting, that means the cylinder is extending slowly. So let's see. So bypass this, you're pressurizing the road inside by blocking the cap inside, and you're giving internal pressure to this. We'll see.
Yep.
Okay, right there. You can see the line breaks. That means it's drifting slowly. That means it's internally leaking. So it means the cylinder needs to be opened apart and looked into. Yep. Failed.
Looks like there's a lot of contamination behind where that wiper is. We also noticed when we were disassembling, we checked the torque on all of these bolts because we want to see what state it was in operation. And we found that they were under the torque spec for the bolt.
These, we're holding this ring in.
Okay, and they were torqued over spec.
No, under.
Under.
They're supposed to be,
159.
yeah, and they were at under 60.
Some were 30, some were 50, some were 60.
Wow.
So we take a record of all of them so we can put them into our report.
Yep.
We're just checking a bore out here. There's been an issue with this cylinder. There's some light damage to the bore. Basically, we're finding out if there's any allowance that we could possibly hone it out to get rid of any of the marks.
Now, if you look at the bore here, the finish changes right about there.
Yes.
So I think that is oversized a little bit for the gland.
Yeah, you can feel a bit of a drop off when it hits that mark.
We want to get the diameter just past where the finish changes.
Right here?
Yeah. So we've disassembled, obviously, the cylinder. We've got the gland. There's a stop tube and the piston. After stripping off the seals, we check all the dimensions of the grooves and the outside diameter of the piston and the gland and make sure that our seals are a perfect fit. When they go back in, we need to check all the numbers. We can't just purchase a seal kit and put it in there. We have to make sure that all the diameters work out. We also check the straightness of the bar itself. That is a plunge indicator. And then we take down all the numbers,
right at the
add them
front.
into the report, so we have
I've got
a good record of it in the years to come.
9.040. I got 40 thou over 9-inch right at the start here.
Okay.
I'm just going to go past the even finish where it changes. I'll go a little farther in.
Now are we measuring right here still, or?
No, that's the
Okay.
drop off. I'll go a little deeper then.
Okay.
This is even deeper still, Caleb. And it's increasing. And that's getting close to how far I can extend it.
Okay.
That's it for now. I have to decide what to do next.
During disassembly, we check the torque on this nut, on the piston nut, and it is supposed to be approximately 20,000 foot-pounds of torque. We were basically able to crack that by hand, so we're looking at maybe 100, 150 foot-pounds of torque. What can happen there under load, hydraulic pressure, there's not enough force against the piston. It could tend to get out of position, cock a little bit, and that's what would cause a collision between the piston and the inside of the bore. We're going to clean up the piston, reseal it, and on the cylinder bench, we'll be torquing this up to spec during assembly, and it will run well.
This tube is set up, it's 7.5 inches in diameter, and it will be machined for a dry fit piston in a hydraulic cylinder. And what I'm about to do is thread it to match the threading on the piston. I would call it an attachment. because they're going to use it just for their dry fitting, and then, you know, save it for down the road should that cylinder come back, which probably will. It's a common job. Just going to zero out here.
We're just setting up to do the final assembly.
Sure.
Well, we had to be able to get the piston from the front to the back. We can't fit it by hand.
My arm's not that long.
Yeah. So we had to fab up. Well, Aaron had to fab up just a fixture so we can add the wear bands onto the piston and run it up and down the bore. That makes sure that there's no nicks or any kind of anything in there. Yeah, it's the only way to test.
Without putting it on the actual rod and then installing the whole rod. A makeshift rod, piece of pipe. Something that we can manhandle easy.
Yeah.
Slide it in there and be able to pull it back out.
Yeah.
That way you can have like an intimate feel of what's going on in there through the bore. So if there's slight resistance, most likely you're not going to feel it with the 300 pound, 400 pound rod attached to it.
Yeah. So that'll just push through anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, I'm gonna. If you can hear the seal,
Oh yeah.
even just with the wear bands. And Aaron's gonna be feeling for any interference.
So far it feels pretty good, consistent. Yep.
That's the end.
Or you just catch it.
Yep. All right. Next steps are add the seals to the gland, the piston, and then torque down the piston nut to spec, and reassemble the rest of the cylinder, and then test. Right, and we want to make sure that that bore is 100% clean, concentric before we proceed. And just making sure we don't have any sharp edges around the lip.
To harm the seal.
Yeah, because it's really tight when it goes on. It's a Cat Type 1 seal. That's hydraulic oil in there. John had said 180, not to really go over.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really, we just don't want it to exceed the manufacturer spec, and we don't even really want to get close to it. It's pretty warm.
It's only like 90, I think.
Dude. Okay. Check this.
That's the easy one.
That's the easy one. That's the backing ring. Ready?
Yeah. So we get one screwdriver in over there. One over here. Yep. Nice. Push it back all the way. This
It's a-
style of seal,
It's very rigid. It's not very flexible, and it's without heating it up, you can't get it on over the piston and all the grooves into the slot that it needs. So what we have to do is warm it up to a specific temperature, warm the piston up, to make sure that it doesn't, once it contacts, it doesn't cool off. And then it's a two-man job basically to get under the seal, stretch it out, and into the groove that it needs to be.
it's okay. Here, I'll just pull this back a bit.
In the middle.
Yeah, we're pretty good here. Maybe this way just a hair.
You get it pinned in there and then center up the chuck. You just want to make sure that sight hole.
Let's rotate this. Like that. Right, at least then we can see through here.
Yeah. Yeah, if we've got to pull these out and untighten it to get a good look, then that's what we've got to do. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. And there.
I'm never using this before. We're going to try to do a low pressure test and see how it... PSI. We're reading 10,000. 500 PSI, how much torque should we have pulling down? 10,000?
10,000?
And that's about what we read on the red gauge here. Trying to make sure we're...
Well, oh, we're just checking the
I'm just checking that everything works before we go twisting the nut down. So we don't want to, we want to keep maybe 500 PSI because we want to be somewhere between 6 and 12,000 foot-pounds. So now we'll try to go up and get a pin.
Grab a hole.
Yeah. Oh, just, yep, you can try that. Okay. Then we go this way. Now we started, we had it lined up with the holes. We got to go.
I put a Sharpie mark where it needs to end,
Oh, okay.
down on the bottom there.
Okay, so when the hole gets to the bottom, we should be.
Yeah. Working.
Yep.
And up with is at the bottom.
Was that one turn or half a turn?
Half turn,
Yeah.
180.
We've just started turning.
Yep. Gotcha.
Starting to get some torque now, eh?
Yeah. We're getting to the end of the torque there. You see how it quit turning? So we still got
Probably about 60 degrees. 120.
Well, no.
20, like a third of a
180
turn.
would be a complete or a half turn, right?
But we still have to close that gap right there.
Yeah, we've only gone maybe 30 degrees.
So we have the relief just set a little more than it takes. So once we get torqued up to a certain value, it'll stop again. I just don't want it set to the maximum. And we know we have 15,000 pounds based on this and this.
Is that reading pretty close?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tonnage to the calculated sheets. I'm just going to hit it one more time. We'll double check it. You read the gauge?
Yep. That hit just shy of 1,000.
Just shy of 1,000. Okay.
Definitely a lot tighter than it came in.
I was just thinking,
Somebody's gonna have fun with that later.
like I say, calculated, we need 5,200 for 15,000 right now.
Okay, so we achieved the torque we wanted to. We're just shy of 20,000 foot-pounds.
Which is okay.
That's exactly what we were looking for.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And steps next.
We need to drill a new cotter pin hole in the nut through the rod, and then after that, clean it up and load the rod and piston and gland into the cylinder. So we're lined up to reassemble. Once we get it close, we got to make sure that it's concentric.
So that end will slide this way, right?
This end?
Oh no, because we're resting on here.
It's close. It's very close.
I would like to get it in there too.
Is that a different kind of grease or
It's food grade, actually,
great?
but it breaks down easily and it's compatible with the hydraulic system, so yeah. It's at the piston or at the seal now.
You want to kind of
Yep.
do that. I'll put some pressure on it.
You're gonna have a hard time getting past the piston seal. That's the thing on that chamfer. That's probably where it's lined up right now. There we go. There we go.
Seemed like it.
Just before you hit that, just want to take a look. Yep, we're past the I think we're in there. What we can do is just maybe pop a couple chunks of wood between here and here to pop it in. And going just a little bit further with the gland. Now, just getting the gland in there, I'm gotta get it past the slip or the locking rings.
Yeah.
But I don't want to push that all the way in yet until I know the gland is seated in.
Yes.
So I was just pulling this out of the way. Yes. So now we're in all the way with our gland. You can see the retaining ring groove there. So we're going to pull everything off, push the cap, retaining cap on, torque down the bolts, and we're ready to test. So for the 5/8 fine thread, we have to set it for 204 foot-pounds. It's the value we're setting it to. And that's to make sure that we've got a properly assembled joint. It's rigid and it's gonna hold up under load. So I've already torqued that one down. I'm gonna go around in a pattern. Oh. You can see on the digital gauge, if you exceed the rating of the bolt, you distort the threads and you end up wrecking the joint that way. You strip the threads out, then it's not going to hold anything. So, and if you under tighten it, it could come loose in service. This is to make sure that the threads are seated. Okay. We're good.
That's
It's
it.
all, yeah, it's all tightened down. It's a simple step, but if it's missed, we don't have the quality. We do have to put on a cross tube before testing with the fittings, but yeah, so essentially right now it's time to take it off the test stand and send it over to the test bay.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, give us a like and a comment, and let us know what you want to see next.